Good morning. I had some questions already about the Interval Monkey game mode, and I didn't go over that in the video, so let me go over that now. What we're doing is we're practicing our different intervals, and we're just getting really started into this, so don't worry if you don't completely understand or if you're making lots of mistakes. That's okay. This is practice. So what you're going to do, if you're going to go on to the game mode, when you click that on down here, it's going to tell you get to G using A. They want you to use a leap, and they want you to use a step. Well, let's go back over intervals. So we're going to use our hand staff, and anything that's right next door is called a step. So if I go from this lowest line to the next space, that is a step from E to F. That's one step. Then if I go from here to here, that's another step. From here to here, that's another step. So they have to be touching, they have to be next door. So I'm looking up here on the staff, and let's just go back to not game mode for a minute. If I go from E to F, that is a step because they're right next door, they're touching each other. But if I move this note right here, I have now skipped over something. I have gone from E to G, and hopefully you remember a little bit of this from third grade. I'll go from E to G. I skipped over that space, so that is called a skip. I skipped over one thing. If I then, let's say, let's change this to A. Let's put it in that second space, and then I drag this to C. Well, that is another skip, because if you notice, I went from the second space to the third space. I had to skip over a line, so I still skipped over one thing. They're not exactly touching each other, so that's a skip. Anything bigger is a leap. So let's say I come down here, and let's just make it a middle C, and then to A. So there, I've skipped over more than one thing. I've skipped over a space here, a line, another space, a line. So if it's bigger than a skip, because a skip is only skipping over one thing, it's called a leap. So from there to there would be a leap. If this way, I leapt down. So you've got a leap that's moving in a downward motion because it went over a line and a space. So it's bigger than a skip, it'll be called a leap. So what they're doing in the game mode is they're telling you how they want you to get to the second pitch. So it says get to A using A. They want you to use a leap, and they want you to use a step. So we're going to drag one note over, and if I moved it here, I've got a leap, because from C to F, you can think about it, C, D, E, F, I've had to skip over two things. I skipped over this space, and I skipped over this line, so there's my leap. But from F to A, it is not a step, because I skipped over something. That's a skip, so that's not correct. It's going to tell me I got it wrong. So I'm going to have to make one more move. Let's go one more up. I still have my leap here because it's bigger than one thing in between. But now I have my step because they're next door. So let's see if we got it correct. Okay, so we have a leap and we have a step in between those pitches. So let's do another one together. All right, so let's just look at it. What do we have from G to D? Well, we can tell there's a whole bunch of space in between here. We got a space, a line, and a space. We know from G to D is already a leap. But they're wanting us to drag one pitch, and they want us to have a step and then a leap. Remember, step is going to be what? If I start here on G, a step is going to be right next door. So nothing in between. So I'm going to move it over here. Now I've got a step from G to A, and then I've got a leap all the way up to D. What happens if I put it here? What would this be called? This would be called a repeat. So I've repeated the pitch, and then I've got that big leap. So if I played it now, it's going to tell me I'm incorrect, and this is what happens if you get it incorrect, which is no big deal. All right, and it'll let you go back and try again. So then we can go back and fix it and put in our step and try it again. Okay, so you can kind of hear how the melodies are working out with the different intervals, and we're going to be writing your own song soon using intervals. So just practice with this. Again, this is not a grade. I just want you to practice and get comfortable using intervals. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other questions. Bye-bye.